in order to get the worms you want for these small individual worm farms, you inoculate them with worms that you've harvested from the larger pathways. We haven't sorted the worms from the worm castings, so these are just still digesting the material that we harvested, and there's no hurry. We can let them keep digesting this, and we can use this for additional worm farms or to sell them. Lots of immature worms in there. In each of these 3 buckets here, we have a layer of leaves, rabbit manure stable cleanings, which is this stuff right here in this bucket right there. And then we have some coffee grounds. Starbucks will get their coffee in these aluminum bags, and then they bag up their coffee grounds and give them to gardeners. Then we can take these same bags and use them to package our finished worm castings to sell at the farmer's market or wherever. So the bag gets used 3 times, and maybe more than that when it gets to its final destination. That's just another resource that gets thrown away. With those 3 layers, it's kind of a sheet mulching, lasagna gardening in the bucket. And we're just going to add a few worms on this layer. We've got eggshells. Looks like we have citrus in here. It's not recommended that you use citrus, but since it's in here, we're going to use it. And usually this would go to the chickens, but we gave up our chickens for the winter, and that's the best use for it. And that's one of the reasons I'm making up the worm farms, because I'm trying to find a way to recycle this. So I'm going to take this and it's not so pretty, but it's one way to get rid of this stuff. And we also have some leftover compost tea, which wouldn't hurt to use that to inoculate what's going on in there. It all has to be wetted down as well. So the fact that we need water, and this is already really wet, it's all going to absorb in there and not drain out per se. It's all going to saturate all these different layers of carbon and nitrogen. So we can add some more leaves again. And we can put some more stable cleanings, and we can just dump this right here. And then we just add some more coffee grounds. And then we'd add some more worms. Now these are some wood chips that we got from the landfill on one of our back hauls. We usually get wood chips that are very green, clean, but that day he went to a pile that was very, partially digested, which, again, we wouldn't use these for pathways or mulching. Well, you could use them for mulching in the nursery, but it's actually a better product because it's got a lot more organic matter in it and it's broken down. And there's mycelium in here. So that's another reason we would use this in the forest garden or in the greenhouse here. But I want to add another layer of this so we have some woody material that, and we'll just top that off with leaves. And actually the leaves keep it from smelling. The carbon scrubs out any of the gases that might happen. So now we could put a little more water on there. You could just take and stack these. Like that. And then you can just water here and here and here And in a couple of months, you may want to take them off and check them, but in a couple of months you can actually get all of that to digest and turn into worm castings and worms, and you know, you can use it in your nursery, you can use it in your garden beds, you can use it in your potting soil with starters and stuff like that. So it's a really easy, simple way without buying a fancy worm farm to do worm farming. Let's go look at some of the worm farms we have up here. They're about 6 to 8 inches deep, and this is breaking down very nicely. You can see the worms. It's about 80% worm castings already. There's lots of other critters in there, a lot of shredders. It's almost ready to harvest. So once this is harvested, basically we do the same thing, just layering, sheet mulching, lasagna gardening in the pathways, and using this pallet here, which eventually breaks down, but they're oaks, so they could last 2 or 3 years, and a piece of plywood to keep it nice and level for access. But this is another way to grow worms, grow soils. So this material can go back onto the forest garden beds, or it could be sold and be compost tea, using bedding plants, using a nursery, or it could be sold, you know, by the 1 gallon bag for about $10 to $15, or not, you know, 1 gallon bag actually, a 2 gallon bag. So it's lots of, and then what we're also doing is, we're actually, you know, using the space twice, aren't we? We're stacking functions here. We're building soils. We've got a bed that's access, and it's also, you have a bed in the middle of the greenhouse here. You actually create edge. So you've got, you know, got the sun coming in here. The kumquat gets plenty of sun on both sides, that pathway, and then we have the leucaena and the papayas and custard apple and oranges here. Getting lots of sun, and then when it moves over there, that gets sun here, as a pigeon pea. So having the pathways in here serves many functions, and it's a, you know, it's a fertilizer factor as well. So.